Imagine a giant spinning wheel in space that will generate artificial gravity. Hey, like this one. A thing so huge, it will require several launches and will have to be assembled among the stars. Well, it's no longer a sci-fi movie setting. It's about to be real. The wild part is the reason why it will be created. Humans are literally not built for space, at least not long term. Not the live up there for years kind of space. Our bodies start falling apart the moment gravity disappears, like a phone battery draining faster than anyone expected. That's why scientists and engineers keep coming back to the same bold idea. Build a rotating orbital station that creates artificial gravity. You see, when something spins, it creates an outward push called centrifugal force, basically the same thing that makes you stick to the side of a carnival ride. Put astronauts in modules along the outer rim of a rotating station, and suddenly their bodies feel like gravity came back. They can walk and sleep normally. Most importantly, they can live in space without slowly turning into fragile glass statues. In microgravity, which is what astronauts feel on the ISS, bones lose density and muscles shrink. Even the heart gets weaker because it doesn't have to fight gravity to pump blood anymore. The human body just starts shutting down. Artificial gravity could stop that slow collapse and turn space from a place humans visit into a place humans actually live. The station that will make it all possible will look like a hub in the center with living modules sticking out like spokes on a bicycle wheel. The outer ring becomes the floor because rotation presses everything outward. Engineers talk about aiming for about half of Earth's gravity, because even that could make a huge difference for long missions. And to get that one-half gravity effect, the station design might need a radius of about 130 feet and spin at about 5 rotations per minute. But space never gives anything for free, because the second you make a station spin, you create the scariest problem no one thinks about until it's too late – docking. Now, docking with a normal space station already feels like threading a needle while drifting at thousands of miles per hour. To dock with something already spinning like a slow blender, an incoming spacecraft would have to match that rotation perfectly. Or it could slam into the station like a car hitting a moving roundabout at full speed. You remember the docking sequence in 2001: A Space Odyssey? Yeah, like that. But one mistake, one wrong angle, one miscalculated timing, and the home in orbit would turn into an expensive debris cloud. Building a station like this will take multiple launches, careful assembly in orbit, and non-stop precision work where every bolt matters. If something breaks at the wrong moment, humans won't just lose a mission. They'll lose oxygen, safety, and most likely the ability to come home to Earth. Now, this isn't the first time someone dreamed about artificial gravity. In 2011, NASA came up with a Nautilus X concept. It was designed as a long-duration deep space vehicle for missions lasting 1 to 24 months, which is basically the danger zone, where the human body starts breaking down in microgravity. The clever part was an onboard centrifuge, a spinning section that could create artificial gravity so astronauts wouldn't lose muscle and bone as fast. Nautilus was supposed to become a stopover spot for a long-term mission to the Moon or Mars. It would be placed at one of the Lagrange points, depending on where the mission would go. Lagrange points are special spots in space where the gravity from two large bodies, like the Sun and Earth, and the force needed for a small object to orbit perfectly balance. It's sort of like a parking spot for spacecraft, where they need very little fuel to stay put. It could also serve as an emergency station and hospital for other mission crews. But the project didn't get financing. Long before Nautilus X, back in 1966, Project Gemini 11 tried to hack gravity with the most duct-tape genius method. The crew connected their Gemini spacecraft to an Agena target vehicle with a 100-foot tether, then tried to keep that line stretched tight while floating above Earth. The plan was simple: start spinning the two spacecraft like a slow-motion space lasso, and the rotation would create a tiny pull outward. That would be artificial gravity. It wasn't much, but it mattered because it proved astronauts could manufacture gravity in orbit instead of just suffering without it. Of course, space didn't make it easy. The tether didn't behave perfectly at first, and the motion got weird and unstable until the crew controlled it using thrusters. But once the rotation settled, they generated a fraction of 1g, basically a microscopic version of gravity. But objects were shifting from that tiny force. So this idea isn't random. It's a problem everyone who is serious about long-term space living keeps trying to solve. Because without gravity, space doesn't just feel weird, but slowly breaks the human body like rust on metal. And while humans plan these spinning stations like orbital cities, there's another planet quietly waiting for us – Venus. The planet everyone used to hype up as Earth's twin until we realized the twin grew up angry and on fire. Venus has almost the same size and gravity as Earth, but its surface feels like a pressure cooker filled with acid clouds and heat that could melt your dreams on contact. Venus isn't just a scary neighbor, it's a warning sign. It's like the universe gave Earth a bad ending version of itself and placed it right next door so nobody can pretend the future always stays friendly. So, it's important for scientists to understand how a planet that looks so similar to Earth became such a nightmare. And now, NASA wants to go there. Their plan includes 2 big missions with very different personalities. The first one, Veritas, will orbit Venus and map the surface in high resolution using radar and spectroscopy. That spectroscopy might sound intense, but it's just a way to read what something is made of by looking at how it interacts with light. Veritas wants to figure out what Venus is hiding under all that cloud cover, because you can't truly understand a planet's history until you see its scars. NASA currently lists the launch as no earlier than 2031, which sounds far away, but for planet missions, that's basically tomorrow. Then there's Da Vinci, a probe mission that will study the Venusian atmosphere from top to bottom. Da Vinci will measure gases, chemistry, and clues that might answer the most dramatic question of all. Did Venus ever have oceans? Like actual water oceans, the kind that could have made it habitable long ago, before it turned into a screaming furnace. NASA describes Da Vinci as a mission to explore whether Venus could have once been Earth-like, and so far, plans to launch it in 2030. While this is in the developing stages, one unusual space project is already flying high – a wooden satellite. This unusual Japanese concept is called lignosat. Wood burns up cleanly during re-entry, which could reduce harmful particles compared to some metal satellites. It's also an experiment to see how wood handles the brutal environment of space with radiation, temperature swings, vacuum, and the whole cosmic beating. Lignosat is made of a type of magnolia that's traditionally used in Japan, in traditional joinery technique without screws or glue. It's tiny, just under 4 inches on each side, but the idea behind it is huge. Instead of launching more cold metal into space, humans might someday build things from natural materials that don't pollute the sky when they fall back down. The first lignosat took off from the ISS in late 2024 and is still on its mission. Lignosat 2 is about to be launched in 2026. So, humans are planning all these space megaprojects that feel impossible until they're suddenly real. And every time one of these ideas works, even a little bit, it changes what our life in the universe can look like. That's how fantasy becomes reality.